In December of 1965, in the small community of Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, something happened. A bright, fiery object came soaring through the sky, seen by multiple people in multiple states, and it came and crashed into the woods of Kecksburg. Soon, military came in, cordoned off the area, and didn't let anybody in. What was there? What were they hiding? Was it a meteorite, a Russian satellite, a Nazi superweapon, or a UFO? Join us today as we look for the Kecksburg UFO.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to
Unknown,
Unsolved
unseen.
Triple U.
Woo!
Live again from Pennsylvania.
Have we ever not been live again from Pennsylvania?
Well, I just mean that our episode is a Pennsylvania episode again.
Oh yeah. More PA. This is, I believe, episode 5 of a PA phenomenon.
Yeah, PA, man. I never thought PA'd have so much stuff.
Yeah, well, for a quick thing, I'm Frank,
I'm Sage.
in case you haven't met us before. And this is Atlas, our pupper, who is now walking by. You might hear the noise of his tags as he walks by. We're recording in our dining room this time, changing it up a bit.
Yeah, checking it out so that maybe he can join us a little bit.
Yeah, we've had to put him in the crate the last couple times because he won't stop getting in the way of everything. So, for announcements today, the only thing I have is events are coming up like the Grafton Monster Festival. Atlas is drinking in the background too, but that ain't gonna stop me. He's not quiet when he drinks.
No way, we got him a slow drinker, and he still doesn't drink slow.
So the Grafton Monster Festival is coming up on the third weekend of June, along with the Saucers Over Appalachia. The Grafton Monster one being in Grafton, West Virginia, and the Saucers Over Appalachia being in Bristol, Virginia. And then along with that weekend, there is, if you go out to Chicago, is the Windy City Parafest, where if you are interested in going to that but cannot make it and want to do the live stream tickets, you can use code UDU for 10% off your live stream tickets. Link will be in the bio, well, in the show notes here or on our Instagram. We highly recommend go checking that out. It seems like a great thing to go to. We just can't make it to it physically because of some personal things going on. We'd highly recommend everyone else go though, and we will probably be joining y'all on the live stream if you get on it. And then there's all the other events where we've been talking about on our Instagram. You can find them there. And then from that, I think I'm ready to go into this. Also, one other announcement. Cryptid hockey teams are letting me down. The New Jersey Devils eliminated from the playoffs. Cleveland Monsters, named after the Lake Erie Monster, also out of the playoffs. All the other cryptid teams, like the Thunderbirds, also out of the playoffs. And the others just didn't make it. There's so many cryptid teams in hockey, and they're all out. Tahoe Night Monsters just got eliminated. They got swept. So, besides me griping on these god-awful cryptid sports teams that are disappointing me left and right, you ready to get into today's topic, Sage?
Sure am. Take it away.
All right. So, today we'll be looking into the Kecksburg UFO Incident. This is sometimes known as Pennsylvania's Roswell, which we might have used that term on the Carbondale UFO episode.
Oh.
This one is more famous, though, for PA ones.
Yeah, I would definitely say this one's more famous.
Yeah. So, we're going to be heading to Western PA, to the community of Kecksburg.
That's what's so cool about PA, though, is that it's like, for what seems like a smaller state compared to others, it is like a huge state.
Yeah, and it's a paranormal hotspot.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Sage, do you know anything about the Kecksburg UFO incident?
Yeah, I mean, I do know some, because we were able to stop out there once on our way to a Bigfoot festival in Fair. What is
Fayetteville, I believe.
yeah, that place south of Pittsburgh. But we did make a stop there. We got to check it out. I have a very funny photo of us. Well, funny photo of me in front of it, like the remake of it or whatever, up on the stilts.
Yeah, I have to. I'm going to bring that up later.
We should put that as the picture for the episode.
I was thinking of doing that later in the week, showing our pictures there with the stuff.
I love that.
So, this is one of the few times you actually know a bit about it before I got into it.
I do.
So let's get into this.
I mean, I guess I know some, but I would say that I definitely don't know all of what happened there.
You'll know some things as I say them more than what some listeners might know.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to get into this?
Yep, take us away.
All right, we're going to start with some history of Kecksburg because it's good to get a little idea of the lay of the land of the area. So Kecksburg is an unincorporated community, means it's like not like established with like that's like a city town council or like mayor or anything.
Okay.
And it is in western PA. It's in Mount Pleasant Township, around 40 miles south of Pittsburgh. So that's a good spot. So Kecksburg is in a heavily wooded area. And if I'm seeing right, the unincorporated community of Kecksburg has a population of 51 right now. It's hard to tell because it's not an incorporated township or town, so you can't get accurate census information. However, it's part of Mount Pleasant Township, which is over 11,000 people for the population. So that was about all the relevant information I found about Kecksburg itself. There really isn't much about the town. Now, you ready to get into what happened, though?
Yep.
So on one fateful evening of December 9th, 1965, around 5 p.m., a fireball streaked across the sky. This fireball was visible in 6 states and Ontario, Canada. The sightings of this span from Detroit, Michigan, all the way to Windsor, Ontario. That's a pretty large area.
Yeah.
Flaming debris would come down in parts of Pennsylvania and Ohio, and I believe Michigan as well, and cause some fires. Already a crazy tale here, but don't worry, it gets crazier.
I was gonna say, that's a really widespread.
Yeah. And then as well, some people reported hearing sonic booms from the item going through the sky so fast.
What's a sonic boom?
Breaking the sound barrier.
Like a whip?
Yeah.
Feels like that's what a whip does.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like you're going so fast that boom.
Okay. Is that why Sonic is called Sonic? Does he break the sound barrier when he runs?
I think Sonic's just fast.
Oh, okay.
What a little nice little tangent there.
Just a question.
So locals reported a large object then crashing in the woods of Kecksburg. Of all places, Kecksburg.
Tiny little town.
Nobody would know about this place if it weren't for this incident.
Yeah, definitely.
So, the Kalp children, Nevin and Nadine, were playing outside in the field that evening when they saw something strange in the sky.
Something strange?
Like the podcast Something Strange? I didn't even realize it when I wrote it.
Go check them out.
True, yeah, check them out. An object flew through the sky, streaking green fire. The object then crashed in the woods at the far end of the field. The children were excited and ran home to tell their mom about what they saw. They believed it was a plane crash at the time. During this, Rob and Randy Landy, what a name.
Yeah.
They were biking and saw this strange object fly across the sky over the trees. They knew it wasn't an airplane or a helicopter based on the fact it had no wings and no blades spinning, none of that stuff that you think you'd see with a plane or helicopter. You good?
Yeah, I was looking something up. So I was looking up green fire, like what that usually is indicative of whether that means it's super hot or not. It says that it usually means that there's certain elements like copper, boron, or barium in the fuel.
That is what some people think. There's copper involved, hence the green fire.
Yeah, but that they also it may burn between 2,000 to 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit, which I feel like, is that really hot for flame?
No idea, but that's just, I mean, hot in general, I think.
Household match burns at 600 degrees Celsius.
Which
What's that in
is,
Fahrenheit?
I don't know. So, it's like one podcast I listen to where they say, this is not that, when the one host goes on a tangent. Welcome to another episode of This Is Not That.
That's fair.
So back to the landies. They ran after seeing it. They could tell whatever it was going to crash based on the angle that it was coming down, and ran from the area. 3 miles from the Landy brothers, a local boy 3 miles from the Landy brothers, a local boy saw it as well. Randy Overly watched as whatever it was, no higher than 200 feet and no faster than a small plane, flew right over him.
So no faster than a small plane. So it wouldn't.
So it was like slowing its descent.
Okay.
Bill Bluebush was working on his car when he saw an object fly through the sky. It had yellow-red fire on it with green vapor trail.
Okay, so that's more than one account
of something green. Yeah, no, okay. That's a green vapor trail, not green flames. But
what's
also
the difference?
So the green, it's more of a green vapor trail than like fire. So it's like, I guess, the smoke.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess flame and vapor is different.
Yeah. It was described to him as about twice the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. Sorry, by him. I think I said, my bad. But yeah, he describes it as twice the size of a Volkswagen Beetle.
Okay.
And it was being controlled as he saw it make a U-turn to land in the woods. He would drive out and get a glimpse of the crash object in the woods and describe it as a large metal acorn. So this is our first description of a large metal acorn.
Acorn. I remember that from my understanding.
From what we saw?
Yeah. I was just looking back at the photos. And the recreation is definitely acorn shaped.
Yep. So, back to the Kalps. Their farm was located only half a mile from where this object crashed. And the children alerted their mother, Frances Kalp. She would see smoke rising from the woods where whatever the object was crashed. She called for help and followed up with a call to the news director of the WHJB radio, John Murphy. This was at 6:30 p.m. A response to the crash was being readied by local forces. Whatever it was landed in a wooded ravine. So within minutes, state troopers were upon the scene along with volunteer firefighters. But they weren't the first one there. John Murphy allegedly beat them there and allegedly got pictures of whatever the object was. He saw a bronze-colored, acorn-shaped craft. He got 2 films of photos of the craft and went up the hill to meet the authorities. It was here where he claims his first roll of film was confiscated.
Wow.
The claims that he was first on the scene, however, are debated by some. Some claim that the state troopers actually made it there first and he did not. But he was able to hide the second film of pictures and did not have those confiscated.
Do we know if those are real?
I'll go into it later.
Okay.
So state troopers and firemen would start to cordon off the area from locals getting near the crash site. Fire Marshal Carl Metz would order the area cordoned off, and when Murphy would ask him about what was going on, he would be told to go to the Army about what's going on. 2 volunteer firemen gave interesting reports of what they witnessed that evening, though. Jim Mays was on the hill overlooking the crash site. Through the trees, he could see bright blue flashes. He emphasized that it was really bright. He describes it similar to an electric welder, which, if you don't know, is extremely bright. Like, you have to wear eye protection if somebody's doing electric welding.
Yeah.
And that would, like, leave eye damage if you saw that directly. But he could only see, like, there were flashes down there, couldn't see it directly. The flashes, however, seemed to be timed, like, in an interval. Yeah, Jim and another individual that was not named were then taken back to the station. This is where I got confused for a moment, Because the other firefighter, first one was Jim, the second one is James.
Oh.
The other volunteer firefighter to report something was James Romansky. He claims to have been one of the people who came upon the crash site first. It was a metal object between 6 to 8 feet around and 10 to 12 feet long. It looked like a giant metal acorn. There was no engine, no wings, no propeller, and on part of it, like where you'd see like the top of the acorn where like the little cap is, you had like a bumper there of it, making it the acorn shape, so it wasn't just bullet shaped. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah. I guess I'm confused because that is not the size of 2 Volkswagen Beetles.
Exactly. I mean, hey, who was that? That was Bill Bull Bush. I think I call him Blue Bush, but accident, but it's Bull Bush. Bulebush. Bully Bush?
I have no idea.
But he's the one who said the size of 2 Volkswagen Beetles, and he saw it in the sky.
Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Cause...
Yeah. And if we take Romansky's account as like better evidence, he was actually there and saw it in person, like on the ground.
Yeah.
So I trust his more. So on the part that would be the top of the acorn, like the bumper, there were weird symbols similar to Egyptian hieroglyphics, not like Cyrillic, like Russian language, which some people speculate that's what it could be. But it was actually like not that, because I believe it was him or somebody else there was familiar with what Cyrillic would look like.
Is that like a normal thing to be familiar with?
I think you'd be kind of familiar with like the Cold War going on, seeing examples of Russian propaganda or propaganda against Russia, and you'd possibly see Cyrillic in it.
I guess too, like, so you said it looks more like Egyptian hieroglyphs?
Yeah.
Is this a case for aliens built the pyramids?
I guess if you want to.
Oh yeah. It's all coming together.
Back to it. Actually, no, mammoths built it. Okay, we have the
meme on our account. That's right. My bad. It's actually mammoth hieroglyphs. It's not Egyptian.
So they were confused at what they were seeing. Then 2 men came down the hill. They looked at the object and told them that they were now in charge and that everyone else there had to leave.
Suspicious.
Exactly. Within an hour, the military was taking control of a nearby farmhouse owned by Lillian Hayes. You know, the Third Amendment would like to have a word with you.
I was going to say, is it third or fourth? I'm really bad with history. You're probably right. I'm just going to say that off the bat.
I'm pretty sure.
Whichever one is like, you have the right to not be quartered.
Third Amendment, yeah.
Okay. My other question is, helicopters involved?
I do not believe so.
How close is the closest military base?
I do not know.
Wonder how they got there within an hour.
Well, if people saw it streaking through the sky, and at this point, the military is definitely constantly checking space because we're in the space race. Cold War, specifically the space race. So the U.S. is tracking everything that's up there. Every Russian satellite, every U.S. satellite, any unknown objects, and Russia is doing likewise. If anything is going back and is re-entering orbit, they are going to be monitoring it and know it early.
Right, that makes sense.
Which does come up later.
Oh, okay.
So, I'll just mention now. There was... Actually, no, I'll leave for later.
Okay.
So her children, Lillian Hayes' children, were sent upstairs, and from there, they had a vantage point to see some peculiar things. I don't know why I put that word in. I struggle with it.
So they sent them upstairs in hopes that they wouldn't get in the way and wouldn't see anything. Yep. But in reality, this allowed them to have a better vantage point.
They're young kids, though. But her 10-year-old son, John, saw a flatbed truck arrive, and it came out with something under a tarp.
What is up with flatbed trucks and things coming out under tarps?
How else do you take it out?
A crane?
Uh-huh, and you're going to drive that crane down the highway. Like, I'm just going, vroom, drive a crane down the highway.
No, you pick it up with a crane.
Mm-hmm.
You put it into a slingshot.
Uh-huh.
And then you slingshot it where it needs to go.
And then it crashes in Gary, Indiana. You have the Gary, Indiana UFO incident.
You just
I was trying to think of whatever town I could think of out west that passed Kecksburg. I'm like, I know nowhere.
you literally you could just ping pong the same UFO around the United States, and no one would ever know where the real one is because it's the same one everywhere. Oh my god!
So that's why they use a flatbed truck. What else are they doing? And how else are they hiding it? Tarp or what?
I don't know, but I just got like a memory of this is like a case from a serial killer who would hide kill kits like in different areas of the country, and then he would like fly like let's say from like Alabama to Philly and then drive to Boston and then pick up a kill kit and then fly from Boston to like uh I don't know, somewhere else, and then he would drive again and then kill someone where he drove to. Like he would go around, and I was like, that's what it would happen with this UFO. You have no idea where it originated or where
Oh
it
my
started or where
goodness.
it's going. But anyway,
What a tangent. This is not that.
sorry.
So back on after he saw the truck come out with something under a tarp, he claimed he saw NASA, Army, and Air Force personnel go in and out of the area. The following day, John and his brother tried to head down to the crash site, but were met by a man with what they believe was a metal detector. He yelled at them to leave due to possible radiation. Why would there be possible radiation? Great question.
What is it made of? That
I don't know. So let's go back to the night of for some more witnesses. There are many of them, and I did not put all witness statements, but I put a good amount.
how many do you think you put?
A good portion.
That's insane that there's that many witnesses.
Yeah, a lot of people want to know what was going on, and a lot of this, and I say it later, so I'll just say now, is thanks to John Murphy and Stan Gordon.
Okay.
John Murphy's passed away at this point, but Stan
Rest in
Gordon,
peace.
yeah, we'll go over that as well too. Suspicion,
But we are resting in peace.
yes.
Okay, we're not resting in distress.
I don't know. But Stan Gordon is still alive. I actually have one of his books on creepy cryptids in Western PA.
Oh, cool.
It's the one we got from the Kecksburg gift shop.
Oh, nice.
And we've met him in person before.
Was he Albatwitch?
Yes.
Okay.
And if he's there this year, I do want to talk with him more.
Okay.
He's like the lead Kecksburg guy.
Oh, that's
and
neat.
I need to bring my book this year if he's there to get it signed.
Okay. Did you have any books by him for the Kecksburg UFO?
No, I did not.
Okay, but did you have books for it?
I had two books that went over it. One was PA UFO cases, and the other was just which book was my second book that I used? It was I don't even know, some guy who's selling his UFO books at the Carbondalian Festival.
Oh, okay. So it's just some random dude.
Yeah, I don't. It was a UFO book. He signed it. Cool.
Oh, I think was that one of the people inside?
Yeah.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
So back to some of these other witnesses. Well, actually, we're first going to go back to Romansky, the volunteer firefighter.
Okay.
He was back at the station when a Jeep came along the road, followed by a flatbed truck with something large on the bed that was covered by a tarp. Same thing that John Hayes mentioned.
Okay, I guess my only complaint with that is that every story of a UFO being taken away is on a flatbed truck with a tarp. So no. And I'm saying that because how easy is that to fabricate?
Well, here's the thing.
How easy is it to be like, oh, I saw a flatbed truck with a tarp, and then someone else says, oh, I saw a flatbed truck with a tarp. That's easy to say because that's all that happens at every single one of them.
Yeah. But that's how they get it out. They have no other way.
I'm sure there's got to be another way. There must be another way.
Thank goodness. We're talking 1965 here, though.
I'm sure there's still.
Tell me another way, then.
I already told you.
Tell me a realistic other way.
Take it apart.
Take apart something you don't know what it is. If it's a UFO, don't know what's going to happen, what's going to leak out if you take it apart. And you need to get it out of there fast.
Yeah. Put it...
What?
I was thinking, your Jurassic Park game.
Oh, whenever they airlift the dinosaurs out?
Like, put it into a dinosaur suit airlift it out and be like, surprise, a fucking T-Rex came back. It's not a flying UFO. It's a T-Rex.
Are you?
What's more suspicious?
I might have to crop out a picture of the Kecksburg UFO and take a picture of Jurassic World Evolution where they airlift dinosaurs out, and this is what Sage is talking about.
I'm literally like not high or anything, I promise. I'm just so tired. Like, my brain, this is where my brain is going.
We had a long day yesterday.
We had a long week before that.
Yeah, we had the Penhurst Paracon yesterday, which we'll have an episode recapping that next week. We are a bit sunburned and tired from it.
Yeah, so I'm a little slap happy, but it's allowing for some good jokes, so enjoy it.
So back to this. So this tarp on the truck is similar to what 10-year-old John Hayes claimed to see, but I actually wrote here similar to what 1-year-old John Hayes.
Wow, that's a really smart 1-year-old.
Is some goofy hours out here. Now, 19-year-old Bill Weaver tried to get a glimpse of what was going on that night. He couldn't see what the object was, but he saw a van-type truck enter the scene, and he saw men dressed in what he called moon suits. Moon suits. I have no idea what those are, but I'm going to assume maybe like a white hazmat suit. Have you ever heard of a moon suit?
No, I guess my only thought would be like literally what NASA wears on the moon.
And, just for reference, we didn't get to the moon yet. That was 1969. This is 1965.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't have that developed.
I'm just thinking of like astronaut suits, or in that case, maybe hazmat suits, like radiation ones.
Yeah.
They went to the ravine with a 5-foot square box. Now, it was something going in there, so we don't know what it is. We never have any other confirmation or sightings of that box. A young newspaper reporter named Bob Gaddy tried to get through, but was forced back. He got nothing. Mabel Mazza was not a direct witness, but an indirect witness. She was working at the WHJB radio station that night, so that's where John Murphy was the director of. She was receiving calls about what was going on from multiple sides. She got calls from the military and government officials asking for directions to Kecksburg and how to get there, and calls from media outlets about what was going on in Kecksburg. Word was spreading fast. Okay, so as the night went on, something obviously caught the sight of the military and was promptly removed. What was it? Well, we'll go into that next. And the only thing I was going to say also, too, is like this story got, so before we get, I'm just going to say this was like national news the next day. This was like spread around.
That doesn't surprise me.
Similar to like how Roswell was.
Yeah, and I mean even how Carbondale was, because that was all over, at least the East Coast at the time.
Okay, I forgot about that. So we mentioned earlier the tarp flatbed and the people still monitoring the area the following day. So let's dig into some of that now.
Alrighty.
So what?
Let's dig in like our third host.
What a good third host.
Dun-dun-dun.
So officially, only 3 individuals from the military were there.
Is that on our soundboard?
So officially, only 3 individuals from the military were there. 3 members of the Air Force for Project Blue Book, the government group responsible for looking into UFOs and aliens. So those officially are the only 3 members who went there. Compared to what everybody else mentioned. Very different. Yeah. So based on what they found, their conclusion was nothing remarkable happened in Kecksburg that night. Based on dozens of witnesses, the official statement conflicts heavily with what many claimed.
So, 2 things. 1, what would be the point of lying about nothing remarkable happening there? And 2, oh, I had a second. Like there is military operation there. It's
officially, no, there was never.
That's what I'm saying. But like a lot of people saw it. So what's the Project Blue Book though? I would be more inclined to be like, oh, our military personnel are here. If you say Project Blue Book is here, people are going to be like, oh, they're definitely investigating aliens.
Well, they investigated a lot of things that could be aliens and disproved it. I don't know how public Project Blue Book was at the time, but in the end, though, like They just said there was not military presence there because it's easier for the government to say that to everybody whenever you're fighting, say, like probably 50 people who said that it was there.
So, who drove away the flatbed truck
I don't know.
with the tarp covered, acorn shaped, 10-foot wide by, or 10-foot long by 8-foot wide?
Not the government, apparently.
A random civilian's like, gotcha.
It's a good day to be in the business of selling bootleg government and military uniforms.
Yeah, I guess. Local Halloween shop was on point that day.
So newspapers across the country will report on this, and this would gain traction. The government would remain mostly quiet on what occurred for decades, and individual investigators would mostly take over. The government's and NASA's stance would be that it was a meteorite.
Oh, fuck them.
And
sorry, I just made it explicit.
That's all good. There are two notable names in the investigation of the Kecksburg incident. Like I said before, John Murphy and Stan Gordon. And as I mentioned, we actually met Stan Gordon before. Stan Gordon has been approached by multiple anonymous sources claiming that they were military personnel that either were there at the scene or were guarding it after it was taken out of the woods. It's claimed that it was taken to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. That was brought up with Roswell because that's where it's believed that the UFO might have been taken to.
Why does my brother get everything?
I don't know. That's also where apparently they studied on aliens and whatnot.
I'm just
Pretty
kidding.
sure it's going to come up multiple more times in the podcast.
That's like such an interesting area of the country, though. I feel like for it to be like, why do you think
that's a major military base? That's where they did. I forget. That was in Roswell, I think, where they did a lot of testing of foreign technology we got. It's just a well-equipped base.
Is it because it's closer? It's far enough off the coast?
I guess so. I mean, it was. I mean, you think about when the Air Force started, it was probably a more developed and more populated area, so you can more easily build a large Air Force base there with proximity to larger populations and manufacturing. You could more easily supply that area.
That's true.
Michael Rambacher, an Air Force security officer, claimed to have guarded the object when it arrived, and he did not believe it was from this world. In the subsequent days after the crash, people would then also report being visited by men in black telling them to stay quiet on the matter and not tell anybody about it. This did not deter everyone, though, based on the fact that we're talking about it now.
Will Smith, man.
Yeah, it was Will Smith who came up and told them to better keep
keep that UFO out your fucking mouth.
And then he slapped them and walked away.
Instead of hitting them with the memory eraser, across the head, gives them a concussion, and that's how they lose their memory. That's terrible.
My God.
So bad. Oh my God. Oh. Anyway, please continue.
I will try my best. So, back to where I was on this. Let me see. This obviously did not deter everyone. John Murphy would compile his evidence and a radio special on the incident. This special was going to be called, it was called Object in the Woods. The days leading up to the release, he was contacted by multiple of the witnesses he had interviewed for this, and they informed him that they wanted their interviews rescinded and not aired.
Oh, wow.
This is all days before it. He was also informed that he had to censor much of what was in the documentary. And so when it was released, he let people know that this was a censored version of it.
That sucks.
A few days later, he would be approached by some professional-looking men. They took all of his taped interviews that he had for the documentary. He was visibly upset after this. He would no longer talk about the Kecksburg incident with anybody. If anyone tried to bring it up, he would change the subject very quickly. So by the sounds of it, if that's all to be taken true, he was threatened for his silence.
I was gonna say, that's sus.
His wife Bonnie claimed that all of his notes and information on the topic that he had accumulated would go missing. However, he did get some stuff out. He did have an original unedited copy of the documentary he gave to Stan Gordon. I don't think it's ever been released, or it might have been, or I think Stan Gordon's gone over it and talked about it. And I forget. I don't think the second film of photos have ever shown up.
Hmm. I wonder like what happened to them because I know like when you find old films, like a lot
Probably
of
be
them,
destroyed. I would guess the government would destroy this.
yeah. But like some old films you find you can still develop them.
Yeah,
So like if it was preserved in say like a really well done time capsule or something, like they might be able to open it and develop them then.
could be. So not long after all this, he would be killed in a hit and run in California.
Mm.
His death has never been solved.
Oh wow.
Some think it may have been to silence him,
Ugh.
because he was, by the sounds of it, he was being threatened and followed and tracked.
Yeah.
So to then die by a hit and run and never get it solved is suspicious. But it could also just be a freak occurrence with no correlation.
Yeah, that's the same as from my Cult Halloween episode, I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Now, are you ready to go into the theories of what may have crashed in the woods of Kecksburg?
I was gonna try to come up with a pun, but I couldn't think fast enough, and so just hit me with it.
What pun would there be for there?
Fly away. I don't know. Take me to your leader. Take me to your theory.
That's better. So we have a few possibilities of what may have crashed there that night. The first possibility is nothing landed there and it was all mass hysteria. We're talking the Cold War, not long after the Cuban Missile Crisis, so people were always on edge constantly. So maybe somebody said they saw something, and then next thing you know, everyone's flipping their shit.
Shit be flipping.
Yep. The next is that it was a meteorite that came through the atmosphere and crashed in the woods. This would explain the light and streaking fire in the sky, with the chunks coming off and the sonic booms, and something actually landing there. This was NASA's explanation, and many astronomers also said this was the most likely culprit.
Okay.
The next is that it was a satellite crash. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Before I get a satellite crash, the next is the possible missile test. That a missile was being tested and crashed into the woods and blew up. There is really not much else to back this up besides the military presence that was reported.
Is there any, or was there any evidence on the ground?
Afterwards,
Yeah.
I'll go into that a little bit later.
Because, like, any of these theories that you've said so far, other than that it never happened,
Should leave evidence.
would leave, like, a crater or trees being burned
Yep.
or something like that.
Yep, something like that, and I'll talk about that.
Okay.
So, the next is a possible satellite crash. Now, the idea that a satellite that belonged to either the USSR or USA re-entering the atmosphere and crashing in Kecksburg, that's not too far-fetched. To support this claim, Cosmos 96, a Russian satellite, had re-entered Earth. Re-entered. I almost put orbit and Earth in one sentence, in one word. Earth's orbit at 3:15 a.m. that day. So there was a satellite that re-entered orbit and crashed.
But it entered at 3:15?
Yep, and the crash was 13 hours later.
Is that, like, a reasonable amount of
I have
time?
no idea. I'm not an astrophysicist or aerospace engineer.
Should I ask my brother?
Sure. Like right now, if
I'll text him right
how
now.
long does a satellite take to crash after re-entering orbit? Is what the question is.
Okay.
Because this is a 13-hour differential here. Do you want me to pause this?
No, okay.
So that's where it gets a bit interesting, but this is confirmed to be an actual satellite that came out of orbit on that same day. So it's not fully impossible that it would be a satellite based on that information.
Okay.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
We're getting a bit weirder now with the next two theories. The theory that it could be a Nazi secret weapon or a recreation of a Nazi secret weapon by the US or Russia.
Well, yeah, wasn't this 20 years after?
Yep, the Nazi Bell, also known as the Glock. This was a supposed Nazi superweapon during World War II, a UFO type craft. The shape of it was described similar to that of the Kecksburg UFO, but it's more like bell shaped, hence the name the Nazi Bell. Or it could be a US version of the Nazi Bell, the US Bell, which is more acorn like.
Do we just have like acorn trees?
Giant acorn, maybe. But
Or
also,
just one giant country of squirrels?
maybe. But the Glock could be its own episode or own mini-sode or mini episode or I don't even know.
Whatever we're calling them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So beyond that, we have one last theory, and that is whatever crashed was an extraterrestrial craft that crashed into Kecksburg. An acorn-shaped metal craft with unknown writing on the bumper of it crashed in the woods, and the military then recovered it and covered up the entire scene, making it seem like nothing ever happened. That is the last of the theories. Now,
Alright.
to go into some of these into a little more detail, we're going to go into some of the pros and cons. Based on what witnesses described, there was something that definitely crashed in the woods, and it was something physical based on various accounts. I would say that this discredits the missile and the mass hysteria hypotheses. The meteorite and satellite theories do hold some water, however, there are some things that hurt them. Based on what some witnesses described, the object was able to make limited maneuvers while falling, including changing directions and slowing down, because it was going slower than a small plane by the end, but already had made a sonic boom, so it was killing its speed somehow.
Okay.
Now, NASA was sued in 2003 on this by some groups, including the Sci-Fi Channel. And due to the lawsuit, in 2005, NASA claimed a Russian satellite was discovered at the crash site in Kecksburg.
NASA did.
Yes.
Would there be an advantage to saying that now, like saying later, that it was a Russian satellite rather than saying that it was a UFO?
Yeah, there'd be an advantage because you don't want to admit back then that a Russian satellite crashed into America, that they could get one into America, nor do you want Russia to know you got their satellite. So there's many reasons why you don't do that, because that'll stoke a lot of tensions, because also Russia would then demand their satellite back, causing an uneasy standoff.
Well, I meant more like saying that it was
the Cold War's over.
But saying that it was a satellite rather than a UFO.
Yeah, to quell, to justify people saying that something was there, to be like, hey, you're not crazy, something was there, but it wasn't a UFO.
Is it better for it to be a satellite than it is for it to be a UFO?
For them, yes, because they're never going to admit a UFO.
Okay, that's what I was trying to ask.
Okay, sorry. But it makes more sense when they say it that way, because then that validates what people say.
Okay.
Now, in this lawsuit, it concluded in 2007, and they gave what limited documents they could. As it turned out, many of the files about the Kecksburg crash were already destroyed or missing. Data available from the U.S. Space Command and Russian Space Agency shows that the Cosmos 96 could not have actually been what crashed there that night, despite what was claimed, because the trajectory and when it fell out of orbit, it would not have landed in Kecksburg. It's not possible.
Okay.
So there's a lot of evidence to disprove that would be the end result.
Yeah.
But NASA has no real documents to back this up because they destroyed everything or lost everything.
Mm.
So then that leaves us with the Die Glock theory and the alien one and the Nazi Bell one. Well, we can't really confirm that even existed in the first place. So then to confirm that it was what crashed in there, it gets really difficult. You're like going into multiple degrees of what ifs.
Yeah.
The alien, also similar degrees of multiple what ifs, but that's one I kind of like that theory based on other UFO incidents reported. However, the acorn-shaped UFO, I don't think you see anywhere else, but in the theory that there are various types of aliens out there, maybe various groups upon multiple species, you'd see a variety in UFOs. Like how we see cigar-shaped, oval-shaped, egg-shaped, not the egg broken, but like the actual egg itself. Call back to episode 1 where you talk about the egg. And triangle shape, that's a big one, but you see various shapes of UFOs.
Sure, it's not an egg on its side?
No. That's just saucer shaped at that point.
Not a dippy egg?
No.
Sure?
Yeah.
100%?
Yep.
I don't know.
So that leaves us with the question of, what was it? Since then, tests have been done on the soil, satellite trajectory, and tree branches being broken. And time again, studies have concluded that something crashed there, and also that nothing crashed there.
It's anything and everything all at the same
It
time.
becomes a near impossible tug of war game to determine of what happened. You say it happened, and then you say it didn't, and studies just keep conflicting one another.
Yeah.
So that becomes hard to really get on what happened. But what do you think it was, Sage?
Hold on. So Toby just answered me back, and he said, "It depends. Why? What's the altitude and what trajectory did it have?"
Trajectory unknown, and exited orbit December 9th at 3:15 a.m. in 1965. Soviet satellite. You can add this to it. It did not depart Earth's low. It did not depart low Earth orbit because of a launch failure, and re-entered into Earth's atmosphere.
Okay, so does it say where it re-entered?
No. Yeah, I'm going to assume not too far from Russia because it failed launch.
It did not leave Earth's lower atmosphere.
Nope. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, it did not. No, it did not depart low Earth orbit.
Okay. It did not depart low Earth orbit.
Yeah.
So then what did it re-enter then?
What do you mean?
If it didn't depart the Earth orbit, then what did it re-enter?
Well, I mean, it got to. It didn't make it to low Earth orbit, but I believe it's still out of Earth's atmosphere.
Oh, so it re-entered Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah.
Atmosphere at 3:15 a.m. was a Russian satellite December 9th, 65, presumably launched from Russia.
Yeah. Now, what I'm seeing here on Wikipedia, because I didn't look too much into into the Wikipedia for the Cosmos 96. Apparently, it was a very steep and not consistent with a spacecraft re-entering from Earth orbit. It was more likely a meteor in prograde orbit from the vicinity of the asteroid belt is what I guess was cited. Let me see who's the source for this. This is the NSS DCA / COSPAR. Don't know what that is. NASA Space Science Data. Oh, yeah, that's NASA Space Science Data Archive.
I guess my curiosity would come then from if you think 13 hours how quickly that thing would have had to been moving to launch from Russia and land in Pennsylvania, because either way you go, Russia, we are pretty much dead center from either side of Russia.
Yeah, so based on data that NASA has itself said that there's no way it could have been the Cosmos 96. Now, granted, what if it was another Russian satellite? They don't necessarily, I don't think they state it was the Cosmos 96, but we know for a fact the Cosmos 96 crashed that day. Or spacecraft, because it was actually meant to orbit. It was meant to go to Venus, but never made it, obviously.
This is what the fun part is about having a brother who's has a master of aeronautical engineering. I can ask him the hard questions.
But by everything they can tell, NASA says that couldn't be it. Now, what if? Hear me out on this crazy theory I came up with doing this.
Couldn't be crazier than anything I've already said tonight.
Fair enough. What if the Cosmos 96 collided with a UFO, and that's what caused it to crash?
I guess that wouldn't make sense to me either if the Cosmo couldn't make it to.
What if it didn't make it to low Earth orbit because it hit the Kecksburg UFO?
But would it have had enough speed to launch a UFO in the other direction without the UFO being able to control itself?
We're getting to a lot of hypotheticals here of what would happen if a man-made spacecraft hit a UFO. Nobody knows what the hell would happen.
Well, I guess I'm thinking if you hit someone else's car, doesn't always mean that the car can't drive away.
Yeah, but
so the UFO could have directed itself wherever it needed to go. Then, it doesn't mean.
Well, that's why it had some limited control when it was crashing.
But it had control. It slowed down.
Yeah, but limited. It couldn't, just fly back out. So
what happened to the aliens?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, and also one thing before we get on to final thoughts. That guy who I said he mentioned he guarded it at the base.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came out later and said he lied about that. He never did.
What the fuck?
He's now like a UFO guy and whatnot, so he got his claim to fame.
I just don't understand why you would want to do that, because that could, like, I get the claim to fame part, but come on, man.
People are crazy.
Yeah.
But besides all that, did he get back to you on this?
Not yet.
All right. Well, then let's get to our final thoughts. What do you think happened that night?
I have mixed thoughts because with the description of it, I feel like it's not very plausible that it's a UFO. It does seem more meteor-like because that shape, like, is definitely more like random rock chunk that came out of the
Well, a
sky.
smooth metal acorn, though.
No, but acorn shaped is not like what I would picture.
You're UFO discriminating here,
Yeah, well, we all know I did that with the egg anyway. So, I guess in that aspect, like, that would confuse me. But it is very interesting that there's so many accounts that offer very similar descriptions of it and very similar descriptions of what it looked like behind it, whether that was green flame or green vapor, both of which, like, if you don't know the difference, might be kind of hard to tell the difference, like, depending on how thick of a vapor it is, or like dense of a vapor it is, I guess, which would depend on whatever gas it is. Um, so, I mean, logically speaking, like, it would make sense to me that it would be a UFO. It sounds like something maybe did happen, like a mechanical failure, something like that. That will, like, when you think of like a plane that can still emergency land safely, but something's wrong that it can't keep going. So like it was able to land without, like, crashing like crazy. Um, but that it still it couldn't get itself out of orbit. I think it crashed into the Cosmos 96 spacecraft. No, I don't, but I do think that something may have malfunctioned when it was in, like, our atmosphere.
All right.
As for the cover up,
I gotta say, on my theory is, I do think an extraterrestrial craft crashed. That's what I'm going to say is most plausible out of all those. I think
okay,
it's suspicious the military activity that so many people said was there. I mean, also then saying it's a Soviet satellite, but then everything points to no, it was not one. Quite the interesting tale. I I go with the acorn shaped UFO crash.
okay, it is a very fun shape.
That's part of the reason I love this one because of the fun shape of it.
Yeah, I love it.
So that's my thoughts on it. But in conclusion, on December 9th, 1965, a strange object flew through the sky as a fireball, seen by multiple people and heard by many as well. It crashed into Kecksburg, PA. The people came and saw it. Some of them saw a strange metal acorn, and then the military rolled in. They took whatever it was and got out of there. Officially, they were never there, but many claim otherwise. Did this truly all happen? Did they find a UFO? Let us know what your thoughts are on the comments or on our Instagram. We'd love to hear from you guys. Now, I'm going to get into the pop culture of this because this one actually has permeated into pop culture a decent bit.
Okay.
Well, like to an extent, like not like very popular, like Bigfoot and whatnot, but in many things, like this is a famous UFO sighting. First off,
Mm-hmm.
um, this one is one that actually has a yearly festival each year in June over the weekend near the end of the month. This is one I've wanted to go to so bad, but we've never had the chance because we've always been so busy.
I was gonna say, do you think there's like a reason that everything happens in June?
It's just easier to get a lot of people out.
That's
I believe it's
logical.
local firefighters host this to raise money, so that's the best time to get that.
Oh,
Do they
that's
want to
cute.
do a festival in the second weekend of December in south of Pittsburgh, or is it going to be too cold?
Of course,
So
have
that
it at the bar. That the
all of it just at the bar.
well, I think it's a Legion.
Yeah, I think you're actually right. Legion Outpost, is that what they're called?
Yeah, something like that.
Um, the Kecksburg UFO was then presented in the season 3 premiere of Unsolved Mysteries in 1990. Quite a bit of my information came from here, well, from their reporting on that. In 2003, the Sci-Fi Channel had a 2-hour documentary called Kecksburg: The New Roswell. This brought a lot of light to it as well. It's been featured. Weird.
Okay.
Sorry, we just had to pause there. Something weird happened. If you heard any static there, Don't know what it was. My phone started going off. Like, my Patreon started playing.
Something is in the room with us.
Is it a giant metal acorn?
Yes, it's right there.
So this has been featured on multiple shows on Discovery and History Channel, and this is where the Die Glock Nazi Bell theory comes from. In 2019, the movie Kecksburg was released. This is a dramatization of How would you say it?
Dramatization?
Dramatization. Yeah, I can't word some days. This was a dramatization of John Murphy and the Kecksburg UFO incident and the story behind him and trying to get the story out. Lastly, the town itself has a little store in it located in a bar, or like a Legion outpost, I guess. And a model of the acorn-shaped UFO is also outside of there as well. We've actually been there to the store and have a picture with the UFO model in the background. And people have also been married in front of it, too.
Oh, come on.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. I feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
Darn. Missed opportunity.
I did like our farmhouse wedding.
Oh, I loved our wedding. I would never change anything about it. Well, I would change some things about our wedding, but I would never change our wedding as a whole. But it would have been absolutely hilarious if you and I, who we are as people, got married in front of a UFO.
But I would love to go back out there again. I'll be in that area soon for a work trip, but that's work trip.
Yeah. I'll just put this little tangent in there. We did incorporate parts of our personality into our wedding. It was Harry Potter and dinosaur themed. So.
No UFO, Bigfoot, cryptids, any of that stuff, though.
No, but we did pick the two biggest parts of our personality. So, well, my personality and your personality.
Yeah. All right, and that's all I actually have for today, Sage.
That was awesome.
Do you have any other things you want to bring up on this?
No, but I guess if I hear back from my brother in time, like maybe you can add it to the description or whatever he says or something like that.
Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll let the actual aeronautical engineer talk about the physics of it.
Based on NASA archives, it was impossible for that to be Cosmos 96.
Yeah.
And then we're going to wrap it up here. So any final things to say, Sage?
No, just stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to do a recap with some of our friends who came with us to the Pennhurst Paracon. We're looking forward to getting on with them, talking about it.
Yeah, so nothing real big next week unless we want to do both, like something regular and that. We'll have to see. We know you guys do not listen to recaps as much, like the Carbondale one.
Nah, I got to see how I'm feeling, though.
Yeah, we had a pretty long week last week, and our little goober here makes it hard to research during the week.
Yeah, and he's got a vet appointment and a grooming appointment this week.
You got to get rid of them worms he has.
Yes, he does have roundworms, so he's going to get some treated.
I love our family. You, me, Atlas's worms, all one big happy family. All right, so if you guys are liking what you're listening to, share our podcast, let people know, follow us, subscribe, rate, review on whatever platform you're on. Every little bit helps. We really appreciate all of it. Keep up the support. Follow us on Instagram and on Blue Sky. On Instagram, we are Unknown, Unsolved, Unseen Podcast. And on Blue Sky, we are Triple U Pod, like Triple UUU Pod. I need to start posting on there now. And if you're interested in the Windy City Parafest, that is coming up. You can go to the link on our show notes underneath the sources and find a link to where you can buy tickets. Use code UUU for 10% off your live stream tickets. And with that being said, that's about all that we have today. So, guys, remember
to look for
the unknown,
the unsolved,
and the unseen. Look out for them metal acorns because the sky might be falling.
I don't have anything.
Yes.